Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you. Hey everyone, Joshua Hanlon here, and today I'm going to be taking you on a complete tour of Brick Rodeo 2024 in Austin, Texas. This first massive layout we're looking at here is a large Mars layout. So this is built by collaboration of Dallas and Austin-based builders. You've got this giant golden tower here, certainly is one of the standout pieces, and then sort of moon-based style modules that connect up here. Then that large kind of biome area with the really cool shapes, and then the walkways above the water. And as you come around the corner, you've got this is some Mars Cantina, so sort of Star Wars inspired build. And then here you get into just some kind of bizarre, colorful shapes. I'm not really sure what this is here, but there's like a slide. And then over here looks like a sort of food hall on Mars. And so you're able to go in and experience lots of different food trucks. And then, of course, it's not a complete space layout unless you have a battle happening here on the corner. So you've got some mechs, some walkers, some bug-type creatures coming in here and attacking the people. You can admire the big Brick Rodeo Texas-shaped mosaics over there as well. Now we'll go inside the hall and you can see the rest of the incredible builds that are on display here. So this is the entirety of the hall here at Brick Rodeo. To my left is Horizon Zero Dawn. This is built by Ben Rollman, who we've chatted with here in videos in the past. Really talented builder. I love how he's done the lettering on the background and created that perspective. I always love when builders create a background for the build. I think it just lets you appreciate the rest of the build so much better. Lots of varieties of landscape here, and then of course all the Horizon Zero Dawn creatures throughout this build look fantastic. This is Gathering Keepsakes, so here we have some flowers, and it looks like some kind of a sword or a stick here in the middle. Little Five Nights at Freddy's build, very colorful. Then we've got Titanfall build. I think these are all from Titanfall actually, so a variety of Titanfall builds here, and then a whole kind of street battle scene in the back. Really, really cool for any fans of the Titanfall video game. I'm sure you'll recognize a lot of these builds. Speaking of video games, we've got your Mario Kart with the Lego Mario kind of electronic figure sitting in there. A little floor is lava build. This is pretty funny with the couch going into the lava, the character jumping into the brown crate. And then Donkey Kong's treehouse in the back, and a little bedroom here. Then we've got a large house. This is Nova Drive. It's kind of built into a cliffside. This next build is called A Massive Project of Scale and Perspective. It looks like it's the Brazoria County Courthouse, circa 1938, it says. So, historic recreation, using some of those bricks to kind of create almost like curtain effects in the background are really cool. And then some of the characters out front there. Over here is a brick house, and this is a recreation. This is Aiden Riley, a recreation of my family's home. 13,000 pieces. Using those facade pieces, really nice kind of shaping around the windows there. Looks fantastic. This next build is Castle, and it looks like there is a connection to Ukraine here based on the card in the back. Then we've got Bluey's house, the iconic cartoon character. So you can admire all of the nice flowers out front, and then the contrast of the tan and red roof is really nice as well. This is Big City Green's house, which is from the comedy cartoon show Big City Green. So you fans of that show can recognize, I'm sure some of this looks like you got some of the inspiration out front here. We move into a whole lineup of mosaics. This is Riva and a Stormtrooper. Then we've got Wonder Woman and a classic space logos. Oh, this bald eagle is really nice, especially kind of some of the 3D when you look at it from the side there for the beak. Then a dragonfly, and not a mosaic, but Washington crossing the Delaware, nice historic scene. Then we've got this really big piece here by Kate Hunter called Emergence. Really nice coloring, especially using things like the wings in here, some of these sort of coral pieces, and just a really nice variety of elements. That floating lights, this is from Tangled, so you can see Rapunzel's hair hanging down there. And then we got Ahsoka Tano. And got Hera here, and then some sunflowers. And then we've got a keep going build and kind of characters on the side of the cliff. And here we have a lenticular mosaic. So this one kind of changes shapes depending on which side you look at it from, which is always a really cool technique. And this next one is the Space Shuttle Discovery. You can see the inspiration for this build down below here. And once again, also kind of changes perspective depending on which side you're looking at this from. So very different type of mosaic and using a lot of just the gray and a couple colors of the one by one kind of tiles there. Then Luna, this is by Jake Sadovich. So he's actually just laid this whole build out on a table, and these are all just loose bricks, varieties of grays, some black, and some white in there to create a sort of lunar landscape. And then Jake Sadovich, of course, is the fan designer of the Ship in the Bottle set that LEGO has released on 2 different occasions, so you've got that back there. Got some fantastic jewelry up here as well, some resin jewelry, so the pieces are kind of encased in resin. We've got building up over here, and then this kind of skull, Never Forget is the name of that build. Here we have a floating spiral. This is a very unique looking build. It's got lights pointing down, multicolor LED lights pointing down through a spiral of trans-clear kind of arms from LEGO, and then it creates this shape on the paper at the bottom. So really unique piece. I always love to see people incorporate kind of light and LEGO and see some of the cool designs they can make. Spinning snakes, it looks like that is motorized, it's just not on right now. Night Sky. And then a bunch of character builds here. So these are super fun, sort of emoji almost type characters, but it looks like they represent a lot of holidays and then just kind of fun vibes in general. So that's a really cool idea. Got corner pocket over here, kind of a pool table type idea with the balls going into the corner. This is a marionette doll, and you can see a video of it on the tablet right here. So it looks like there is some playability to it as well, but I love the various leaves that are used to kind of create the dress on that doll. Here's a section of the Enchanted Forest collab that we made a video on earlier this year. This is the Turtle Castle. This is by Ethan the Artisan, a builder that many of you will be familiar with from his work online on TikTok. And just really incredible builder and does great work. So you can see the Enchanted Forest whole collab on the channel if you want to check that out. Then we've got the Pirates of the Caribbean Wheel of Fortune. I got an Avengers Gathering back there, New York battle. So Tensei Gritty Duel on Mustafar. And then Lord of the Rings with one or two other characters thrown in just for good measure as well to keep things fun, but fantastic rock work on that build. Here we do see some actual emojis, and those are always super fun to look at. And then these characters just kind of having a good time playing their instruments and singing along. The Daydreamer back here has the girl jumping on the bed with the horse, imagining herself as a knight up top there. So really fun imaginative scene. Elephant and avocado, and then the burger and fries with the ice cream and the drink in the background. Moving into Minecraft, an ever popular LEGO theme, you've got your kind of iconic blocky look of these Minecraft animals, also by Ethan. Everyone who's a Minecraft fan can give a shout out to their favorite animal in the comments below. This next build, Small Steps, is really unique. I especially love the use of these kind of cape pieces here for this peacock looking build, and then all of these really nice flowers that also incorporate lots of great colors and kind of capes and different types of elements that you wouldn't always expect to see. Even some of the white helmets back there are really cool. Couple more builds down here that are also kind of based on flowers, and it's you've got kind of the flag, you've got the looks like almost like a red poppy type build here as well. And we'll continue around here. We've got a couple of dress builds. These I think we saw on display at Brickworld Chicago as well, so if you saw our tour video, these might look familiar. Got some dresses with LEGO added in. Turning around this direction, we've got a huge model train layout, and there's always some impressive trains at Brick Rodeo every year. Of course, you've got some fun Easter eggs like a Star Wars parade going on through here. And then, of course, some of what they transport is always fun to check out. You've got iconic train builders like Tony Sava represented throughout this layout, and some of the amazing trains that these builders have assembled. They're always super fun to see. And see just how many tracks deep. It's like 10, 12 tracks deep here as they display all of these trains. Got some of the larger towers here in the Texas Brick Railroad kind of represented. You actually get some public interaction here as well. So you can actually turn this and demonstrate some of how the train yard elements work and turntable works, which is really cool. Around the corner here, you can see a train kind of in the shed. And I love this windmill build in the back here. I'm not sure if that's motorized or not, but it looks fantastic, and a little platform you can walk around. You, of course, have to have a bridge to get in and out, so always bridges on these train layouts. Great examples of trees as we round the corner in just great varieties of colors and designs as well, so just a great kind of landscaping variety. This train up front here actually has lights inside it, so you can appreciate a lot of the interior details as well. And I think there's even some sound, a little bit of sound on the front too. If you hear a clock going off, it's because there's a Big Ben build that we'll see later on here as well. Then you've got your energy plant with some nice round building techniques. Another bridge spanning a river. And then you get to the kind of trolley system in here, and just really well done kind of city streets, smaller modular style buildings almost, and once again fantastic lighting in here. Got this big skyscraper with the fountain out front, and some smaller but still very impressive buildings around the corner. That brings us to the final section here, which is these buildings, which has this big light up blue sort of triangular looking building, and then the skeletons out front in a sort of public outdoor museum display. Then over here we've got some builders still hard at work here at Brick Rodeo, setting up a roller coaster section, it looks like, so things are coming along nicely there. They're looking good. And this is Brickopoly, and it appears to be a all Lego built Monopoly board with also kind of brick built properties, and the whole thing is kind of themed around Monopoly, but all brick built, so that's super cool. Big screen cinema, you've got the dinosaur popping its head through, and Alexander Hamilton, and some just iconic Broadway there. Bricks and Noble, the bookstore in the back. Here we have Minute Maid Park. This is from, I believe, the Houston Astros play. The Duxford Air Show in England, a variety of aircraft on display. And then you've got some really nice construction vehicles and mechs. Some of everything going on there. Got a little Minecraft Phantom. And this is the Coffin Bearers of the Afterlife. So it looks like maybe sort of Egyptian-inspired build, possibly. Cormac McCarthy novels back there, built out of Lego. Then we've got Jaws here. Quint's Demise. Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown. So it is 100 degrees here in Austin, but you can always have a little Christmas spirit. This is Casa Madrigal, and of course the iconic Encanto Disney film, and all of the fantastic characters out front here. The lighting looks great, and once again, great use of kind of a backdrop to create a scene there. Then the Haunted Mansion hallway from Disney, and the Muppets Chicken Factory, and then Bob's Burgers there. Then we got a little Lilo and Stitch reference with the bowling. Romeo and Juliet. We've got a Steel City lug, a wooden minifig in the back. And then Ratatouille. And a Hannah Montana scene. And then Taylor Swift's Folklore Cabin. And then this last build in this section is called Stealth. And it looks like we've got a guy kind of maybe moving throughout the tower here and infiltrating this tower base. Next, we'll come across to this section here, which is a large collection of builds, and this is Castle Siege. And so you've got the castle at the top of the hill, and some of the knights are coming out from the gate of the castle to defend against the dragon knights here on this battle. Then you've got the Dark Knight's Fortress, which is built at some interesting angles here on top of this rockwork, so that's always really cool. medieval life. What stands out here is some of the lanterns and the lights, as well as just the sort of cobblestone effect by placing all these one by two elements to create the walkways. I also love the roof elements that are kind of parts intensive, but really create a nice variety in there. Boromir's Last Stand from, I believe, the Lord of the Rings. And you can see all the orcs coming down and getting ready to attack. Then we have Castle Black. This is a work in progress. It is based on HBO's Game of Thrones, according to the mock card. Revenge of Rylock the Red, and this just kind of a sort of fantasy medieval scene, but the castle tower in the back left corner looks really nice. Got a Black Falcon's Keep. The Black Falcons, of course, have had a major resurgence in recent years with some of these recent castle sets, so that's fantastic. Kraken with a ship. And some smaller creatures, sea beasts and knights here. Sharks. Then a little goblin garden. And this larger build. This is entrance to the Goblin Hall. And inside the hall you've got these large pillars. Around the corner, this is called Hawk's Mom. Quite something here. You've got the minifigs on top there. I'm not entirely sure what the story behind this is. If this is based on something, someone in the comments can enlighten me on this. But it's a very large green build. Then the Haunted House by Susan Earls. So this is a upscaled and much more detailed version of the Lego set released in 2012. And as fantastic as the outside in is, it gets even more impressive when you look inside and start to appreciate the bed, the chest, the little flames and lights inside here. All of the furniture just looks really, really nice. So great addition to your Halloween layout this year. Then we have Reach for the Skies. So the theme, I believe, was upward this year at Brick Rodeo. And so you see a number of taller builds. This one is not only tall, but it has some great movement at the top as well. Another build by Jake Sadovich is Vagabond, with the really cool kind of almost greebling effect of the motors there on this bike, and then the moving wheel in the background. Saturn V launch tower over here. And then we've got a Pluck-a-Duck game. So it's sort of claw machine, and it looks like it's actually playable here. So you might be able to have the public interacting with this. And if you remember the Tensegrity craze from 2020, we covered it on Beyond the Bricks for some amazing builders. This takes it to new heights, quite literally, with the Tensegrity Tower. And it's just a massive tower using the principles of the Tensegrity towers that we've covered in the past, and just goes higher and higher here. This thing is probably solid, about 6 feet tall if I had to guess. So very impressive. We've got this patrol boat by Jake Sadovich, and a P-51D Mustang here by Brick Family Fun. This Fabulan Pirates build by Stephen Laughlin is very unique. Fabulan has had a bit of a resurgence thanks to Animal Crossing, more interest in this theme, but one of the most impressive Fabulan creations I've seen, with the brick-built sails, the incredible variety of colors inside here, and then just tons of the Fabulan animals themselves. Of course, bristling with cannons down below as well, which any good Fabulan ship should be. Then we've got the Squirreled War, kind of a board game type idea. This is the HMS Petunia by Jim Butte. A really cool looking display here with kind of the brick-built water around it. And this was part of the Battle of the Atlantic. Up next, we have the USS John F. Kennedy, also by Jim. And of course, an aircraft carrier with some really nice brickwork done to get these angles on the top flight deck here. So also looking fantastic. Jump across here, we've got some Lego jewelry and a guitar, and then a bunch of different typewriters by Steve Guinness, who was the fan designer of the Lego typewriter set. You can see some different colors. And then we've got the upscaled Lego flowers, some zombies, some poker chips, and this marionette by Jake Sadovich. Come around to more mosaics. We've got TARDIS in the Vortex, Doctor Who build, and inside the TARDIS. So these are all Doctor Who builds, I think also by Steve Guinness. He brought these out here. One of the best medieval layouts here at Brick Rodeo this year. This is Dragon Keep by Robert Clarity, and there's kind of so much to take in here. There's little kind of cave scenes underneath, and then there's obviously kind of the river and landscaping itself, which catches your attention. And then inside the towers, there's little accent lights, pathways connecting these towers and keeps, so a lot to take in. Very impressive. Next to that is Lion's Keep. And another really impressive build, kind of based on the Lion's Castle, maybe inspired by that. Incorporates kind of the blacksmith set as well. This mountain is looking super impressive here with the creature kind of curled around it. And it looks like even some smoke coming out of his mouth is looking really nice. Temple of the Snake Eye next to that. And then we've got these smaller D&D builds here, different sections kind of showing different battles happening in this collaborative layout. And then to finish off this section, we've got this huge layout by Denlug. This is the Overlook Castle and Village. We actually have a full in-depth video on this on the channel from Brickworld Chicago, so if you want to see a lot more detail, then you can check that out. But it's great to see them continuing to bring this layout around because it's so incredible to take this all in. So fantastic work there. So that finishes out that section, and we will keep moving over here. And we've got a smaller medieval town. Castle is really well represented here at Brick Rodeo this year. Got Undead Mountain Battle. Then the Seven Dwarves Mine, a bit of Disney inspiration. Here is another build that we've covered in past years. If you haven't seen this before, this is by the Peterson brothers, who have done some incredible collaborative layouts. This is their space battle, and you've got all these bugs kind of coming from the underneath caverns, this bottom half. And then the top half is a sort of mining operation that they can set on top of that and create one large build. And you can see them go through the entirety of this layout on the channel when you check out that video as well. Speaking of space battles, we've got the Swarm over here. So some gray ships with some weaponry of their own, but being completely overtaken by this massive swarm of kind of space bug creatures and ships here. So a lot of action happening. It's not looking good for the gray ships. Then we've got the Slippery Popper here. Really sleek design. And the Banshee looking good with kind of those hot air balloon elements. In the back is the Galactic Spacecraft Carrier. So we saw a naval aircraft carrier earlier. This is kind of a futuristic spacecraft. You've got the big spinning section in the middle looking fantastic. Then the Leviathan, really nice combination of blues there. Jupiter Jousting. So imagine kind of medieval jousting, but in the future, I think in space. The king and queen are in their pod, so they're able to watch it. You know, the space creatures and aliens and classic spacemen out that side of there. Then you've got the classic space heads. So this is recreating classic Lego themes, but with brickheads format. Over here is the Arctic Heavy Lift Delivery, and this is really well done. I especially love the kind of chunks of ice kind of floating out here, but then once you get to the actual vehicles themselves, there's tons of details and sort of greebling, and then I also like how the builder did the tracks in here as well. An Out of This World lab, where you've got the aliens kind of doing experiments on classic spacemen and humans, kind of turning the tables a little bit on the typical lab. We've got the Battle of Scarif by Carson. This looks really nice, and you can even see an interior shot of the bunker over there. So there's interiors all the way inside there, and really kind of sleek landscaping. Looks great. Disney versus Star Wars, a sort of Death Star inspired type build, with all the Disney characters taking on the Star Wars characters in one large battle on this spherical build. Then we've got the Tragedy on Titan. This is from The Mandalorian, Season 2. And then Ceto's Cliff. And got kind of a battle happening inside there. And great use of things like an octopus here for the trees. So some unique elements. leaving Lothal City, and the city is kind of in the background with the ships in the foreground. Then we've got this great Jeddah temple, which is looking fantastic with all this detail packed into minifigs on this side. And then as you come to the other side, you sort of appreciate the architectural elements of this build. Next to that is retro Lego Star Wars. This is Star Killer base, but done in kind of a retro style. And then some smaller Star Wars scenes in the streets of Mos Eisley. Here we've got some E-Wings and a TIE Fighter, and then a massive Venator-class Star Destroyer with lights inside there. It's looking incredible in the background. Huge scale build. An A-Wing, and then a UCS Millennium Falcon coffee table MIDI scale build. So really unique build here by Jake Sadovich. So he's scaled down the popular coffee table display option for the Millennium Falcon, and he's even got the remote and the coffee on top of the table. So very fun and creative idea there. I love that. Yuletide Squadron Leader. So this is kind of based, I think, on the Christmas themed X-Wing Lego made a number of years ago. Jabba's sail barge and a Jawa. And then the Life Star, which is very much inspired by the Death Star, but instead of death, it's all these different characters. A lot of these minifigs, I think, represent people in the Lego community, and it's just kind of like very colorful and full of life, and a lot of fun to explore and look at. This is Geonosis in the retro Lego Star Wars series, so once again, kind of depicting a older style in the early years of Lego, kind of how they would have done some of these builds. Then we have custom Lego lightsabers with some lights in them, which is super cool. And a small little vignette to end that section. Over here, this is the Rebel Alliance Space Station. Huge build and very precarious looking at the bottom. I think a number of these sections actually spin as well. So there's a lot to take in, and just kind of look at all the ways the different like pods and rings are attached to the central core is really cool. This is Brickhawks based on the Nighthawks painting, and so that's really neat to see kind of recreations of iconic artwork like that. See that depicted in Lego. And Neptunus Rex, very nice. And this is actually based on a sculpture in the Virginia Beach Boardwalk. Huge scale build here, Sunday afternoon on the island of Le Grand Jatte, and really iconic painting that you can see in the Art Institute in Chicago today. So if you're ever going to Brick World Chicago and you're going to downtown Chicago, I highly recommend checking that out. Really fantastic looking build. And then we've got the You Are Loved mosaic with some great flowers, and then Fortnite map, where we drop in here. So for all the Fortnite fans, you'll recognize that map immediately. Come over here now to this section, and we've got a Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, and it's got a black light on it to really accent some of those nice neon elements. We've got this 3D Middle-earth map by Brian Firks. We interviewed him about this last year, and it's really cool just to represent all those different locations from Middle-earth. Then Hogwarts Castle in micro scale with all of the iconic Harry Potter scenes. I'll Be Home for Christmas here, kind of a scaled down micro version of a lot of people's Christmas villages. Miniature, very small micro Star Wars scenes, kind of from each movie. It looks like they've chosen an iconic scene to represent. We've got Assault on the Golden Citadel and a seaside house and a little mountain here. Oh, and then can't forget this really cool technique of the floating faucet. Got a little airship and a large ice cream snowman sort of sculpture build. Some builders still hard at work here with a great kind of roller coaster skyscraper build going on. Then we've got some upscaled Lego Star Wars minifigs. These look super cool, and I like how the builder even has the movie clapper there with the QR code on it. And then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We've got upscaled weapons and some buildable characters here. Really nice. Looks very cool. Some more Five Nights at Freddy's. These are larger scale animatronic Five Nights at Freddy's characters. Then a Venomized Groot. And this is Harry Kane's home base by Brett Hooper. So this is inspired by the Adventures theme. Brett has built in this theme before and always does a great job kind of capturing the nostalgia while still updating it with some really great techniques and fun Easter eggs, including whatever we've got hidden down in the cave there. And we're going back up here with Wayne Tower. So you've got a bunch of the iconic Batman villains around and heroes around this build. And then some of the offices and large kind of lobby areas inside there. The big W out front, the limo, especially like the lights, they kind of accent the water and some of the sculptures around here. Oh, and it's used really nice effect with them interviewing Superman with the flashing lights of the journalists there. Then we've got Mario Kart, Peach Beach, and here we've got an entire Mario Kart level built out with a lot of the iconic characters and their karts, and then sort of the buildings that you see in the background. So it's really cool to see some characters starting to tackle more of these larger Mario builds. Then we've got Batman 89, so throwing it back to some of the older Batman stuff. And you've got the Batmobile here, kind of cartoon graphics for some of these, and then the mosaic in the background to create the kind of city perspective. Batman swinging down there. Adventures in Bikini Bottom takes us to SpongeBob, a theme that you don't see built that often, even though LEGO did do a few sets a number of years ago. But really kind of fleshed out design in terms of creating quite a large scene there for SpongeBob. This next build is called What's Up Danger and is inspired by the Spider-Verse movies. Really, really cool build. I loved seeing this at Brick World, and it's great to see the builder bringing this out to more shows and kind of combining up different worlds within Spider-Man as well. This is just desserts, and here we have a pod race going on, and then all sorts of references to other movies mixed in here as well, which is pretty amazing. And there's kind of this whole seek and find section, lots of movement, so there's a lot of fun stuff going on here. Really fun build. A little Candyland, so this is a playable Candyland map for the iconic board game. Got a Austin FC supporter next to Arc de Triomphe Harry Potter called Triumphant Harry Potter. Quite the combo there. And then we've got a huge layout here that, let's see, this is Valley Brook Mall. It's built based on Dies the Fire. It's a series by S.M. Sterling. So there we go. So it's based on a book. And it looks like it's sort of like a post-apocalyptic type idea. But quite a large scene, and the landscaping in particular is really fun to take in here. And then we have Building Up. This is based on the Up movie, but also spells the word up when you look at the buildings. So fun kind of play on words and creative build. Santa riding a big stained glass creature. I think we've got some Stranger Things builds, kind of take you through the story with the house and all through Hawkins, Indiana, all the way to the mall here at the end. Put the creature on top. Once again, some builders still getting ready for the public, getting all those final details done. And then you've got a mock here with, looks like kind of based on Degrassi. There you go. And 3D Clue. So this is a Clue board. I think it looks like you could actually play it. This whole next series of builds is done by Bricktacular Builds, who's a builder we've interviewed many times. He always brings really cool stuff. He's got these Interstellar Cooper and Tars, looks fantastic. This Brick Under a Microscope is really good. His Jumanji board is fantastic. The vacuum looks great. Got a record player in the back. Of course, you got to have shout out to Bob and Larry. And then his computer, cooking breakfast. There's just kind of endless incredible builds to take in here, and they all look amazing. You've got the Wii remote and the Wii, which is an iconic one of his builds. Then you got Lavender Haze and Princess Zelda's tunic here. And then I think a couple of their Zelda-inspired builds. Some parrots, a little Red October submarine in the background with the Planet Express ship. And then Barbie's Dream House. And DJ robots and a star. And then the Upside Down, so some more Stranger Things. And little, I think, book or movie inspired scene there. Disney habitats. This 1989 Batmobile. The hanging characters. And some more Barbie dream houses. I think there's several right here. And that brings us back to the Spirit of Vengeance build. Now we'll come back to this outside section where we have more mosaics. This is the 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. card, built with a lot of round 1x1 stud elements to recreate that card. The Pride Tartan. Love to see all the colors there. Got a collaborative kind of tower, vignette tower. And then a really cute scale here with the various like pirates and Dreams Village. I think these are all dreams inspired, and it's just like different builds, including, of course, your Spirit Halloween store. You've always got to have one of those. This one here is a large Let's Build a Collaboration mosaic. Love to see the different shapes kind of come together in that one. We see another Star Wars inspired mosaic next to that. And a few different very colorful mosaics like I Believe in You and Unspoken Passion and the Lego logo in the middle. And that brings us then to this next section, which is the San Jacinto Monument. So iconic Texas landmark. Of course, going very tall here, looking very impressive. Then we have the UT Tower. And next to that is the stadium, home of Austin FC. Next to that is some Texas wildflowers. So this section is kind of your Texas-inspired section. Spring at Caprock Canyon State Park, I believe. Yes, and looks like you've got some bison roaming, some eagles flying up above. Really nice scene. This is that huge Big Ben and Houses of Parliament build that I referenced earlier. It actually goes off like a clock tower. There are lights inside. And this thing is just super detailed when you really start to take a look around the top of the tower there. So it's great to see this come out by Gareth Ellis. Then we have the succulent gardens and really nice kind of floral work here, looking very fantastic. Next to that is the swimming jellyfish at the reef with some really nice kind of movable legs to it. And this little waterfall and mosquito build. And then Aspen Serenity with kind of a mountain scene. The Nautilus in the background. Charlie Harper's Scary Scenario up above that. A little hermit crab and a snail with the kind of trail there using tape on the table. Then we have Growing Apart with all of these different tree designs, and in the background is the Aquanauts on the ocean floor. And Just Be by Kate Hunter. Really love the tree and the roots techniques there. Peaceful Meadows. And then got the Lone Star Succulent with this cactus build. Darth Timmy and Squirrel Troopers. So this is like a owl and squirrel Star Wars crossover. Very unique. Can't say I've seen that before. And then we've got a number of other owls in here. And fun sort of like farm and mountain landscape. And then this is the band mascot scenes, I believe is what this is here. I think maybe more Five Nights at Freddy's characters as well. That brings us to this middle section over here where we've got these monster trucks, and you just want to see those all kind of running into each other and racing around a track. This Brick Bay City where you've got a fire going on. Looks like some actual smoke coming out of there. So I think the second time we've seen that. It's cool to see that kind of incorporated with the smoke type elements. Got the Ninjago City Modular Super Street, and really incredible details with the lighting in here, but just kind of how much action is packed in. Especially love kind of all the characters battling it out. No matter where you look, there's some cool scene to take in. We've got some really nice cars in here. And in the background is a large kind of, oh, it looks like a zoo, like a stacked up zoo. Pick out your favorite animals. In front of that is a Craftsman home, and of course, Whataburger. It's not Brick Rodeo without Whataburger. Building up, so we actually have another representation of up, this time in a construction zone phase, and it kind of says phase 1 here on the front of the build. So for all you construction fans, you get to appreciate here as the build is coming together. Then Top Shot, trying to throw the balls in the hoops there, kind of a classic carnival game. A really cool parade of classic themes with the Yellow Castle, Classic Space, Johnny Thunder the Adventurers going up to Muppets, and then sort of the Grand Wizard of the parade, and then just hundreds of minifigures packed in around there. Then we have Minneapolis, and this is kind of a city street scene, but also a castle scene, so there's a lot to take in there. And then Necropolis, and this is a super packed and detailed graveyard with all of the grave markers and crosses, the tentacle sort of tree design, and then this old kind of dilapidated clock tower there.
Under the table.
And as we move over here, we've got a I think Amsterdam-inspired building under construction, and then a little Last of Us build. Got a subway station, and behind that is Snow Day. Over here is Ninjago Megalopolis, so going up here once again, and kind of getting all of these kind of iconic Ninjago colors and types of architecture represented. Houses on Holiday Street, St. Patrick's Day, you've got Easter, and it looks like the 4th of July, Halloween, and Christmas all represented. Texas First Tower, and nice fun themed Texas building. This is Animated Haunted House, some ghosts and skeletons. And next to that is 432 Park Street. It's modeled after 432 Park Avenue, which is in New York City. And the lights in there kind of light up that interior really nicely and look very nice. Then we have Arctic World, and this is a huge ice and snow themed layout with all of the helicopters and ships going. And of course your seals and your whales, and lots of your Arctic themed creatures here as well. So fun to see that. And of course, GBC, we have to have represented here, not running right now, but we will definitely return when this is running in all of its glory. Come back around and have an in-depth video for you on this, showing off the GBC at Brick Rodeo this year. We always love to see the variety of builds that people bring out. Oh, and you can actually get a sneak preview of Beyond the Brick already at the GBC with the module and the mic built there. Love to see it. Then we're back here to Soaring High. This is echoes of history and celebrating women who lifted us to new heights. So various historic women, and they're labeled here, which is really nice. You can kind of see the different eras of history here represented in this build. Back to some naval history, we've got the Titanic and various warships here from different eras, but it looks like mostly kind of the World War I, World War II eras. And then the Hindenburg, just for good measure. And then the Battle of the North Atlantic. So you've got a submarine here. And then up top is this ship that looks like it's been torpedoed with the men in the lifeboats, and another submarine build there. And even more Battle for the North Atlantic with another kind of submarine destroyer layout. Then you've got Battle of Midway, and so this is really fantastic, using those blue studs to create the water effect and kind of micro versions of planes and boats. Really nice naval representation here. Roman Fortress by Robert Rodriguez. We have an in-depth video on this on the channel that you can check out, so if you want to see more about that and learn more about Roman history, check that build out. Then we've got this huge Legends of the Old Brick West layout, and it kind of For all you big Western fans like me out there, this is just fantastic to be able to take in the Fort Legorado details, but then the whole Western street with all of the iconic Western buildings like the sheriff's office and the bank, then that rock work in the background with all sorts of characters hidden in there as well. Then we've got Tim Howell, who is operating the train on his layout right now. This is a nice town and train layout. You can pick out some of the fun details and references in the train itself, the lights inside the building. There's even a little movie playing on the billboard and kind of a drive-in movie theater scene as well. So you got a baseball diamond, of course, the fountain there. It's all sorts of nice details with a band going on. Lots to take in there. I love that. We come over here to an Imperial pirate fortress, and the pirates are landing men along with the redcoats, it looks like, and they're attacking the bluecoat fortress. So looks like the pirates and the redcoats have kind of teamed up there. And then here we have a whole section with that build of kind of the city around it, and then some of the docks as well. One of the large bluecoat ships. Got the carousel next to that, and then Big Wheel and the pedal car by Jake Sadovich, and then a Camaro there as well by Gregory LeBlanc. So that finishes out that section for us, and I believe that it finishes out the main hall. There is one smaller hall that we will show a couple final builds in for you here now as well. This smaller hall at Brick Rodeo has a few final layouts. So this layout that you see right here is the massive castle Lionhold by the Peterson brothers. We mentioned them earlier. This is their iconic collaborative castle layout, full of incredible interior details that we have covered several times in the past. So you can see some of the various updates and videos that we've done on that on the channel. This year they've got this new inn and some of these new village buildings that they've added, which of course have their own detailed interiors as well. Always an amazing layout to see when they bring this out and appreciate this whole castle. Across from that is a train layout along with this almost kind of Great Ball contraption reminiscent section. So I haven't seen this all up and running, but I think there's a number of moving elements, and you can see a lot of Technic gears and treads and tracks that are going to be moving a lot of pieces around. So excited to see when this is all up and running. Finally, we have this castle wall kind of medieval layout. So this is just one long wall here. Some of it is like an homage to the Yellow Castle. And then you've got different funny scenes here as well. A little Monty Python and the Holy Grail reference inside there. Somehow the Kraken and the sea creatures have gotten to the top of the wall. And then you've got the lava being poured down by the dinosaur down here. So this does finish out Brick Rodeo 2024. Thank you so much for joining us for the video. We will have many in-depth builds and interviews as well on the channel. So if you want to see a lot of these builds more in-depth, then check those out on the channel. Thanks for watching.